Hello and welcome to the writing part of the workshop. The aim of this workshop is to help you to understand the writing level for foundation stage, and also we're going to give you some ideas as to how you can support your children at home in order to achieve the level in writing. We'll be giving you a little bit of information about the knowledge the children need to write a word, how they then go about writing that word, how they use their phonics to spell, what knowledge they require, and then finally writing a sentence. So this is currently the expected writing level for the foundation stage curriculum. We refer to these as early learning goals. So you can see there some of the things that the children are required to do by the end of foundation stage. So we build them up, enhancing their skills so that they are able to write independent sentences by the time they leave foundation stage. In order to be able to start writing, phonic knowledge is key. So we always start with the phonics, learning the sounds, listening to the sounds in words, reading the sounds before they're able to actually start writing a sound. So this is a little bit later in the term when we're going to start to actually teach them how they write the sounds. It's very much about listening. We say the sounds to them really slowly so that they can hear the sounds in the world, for example cat, and then they can hear cat and then write it. It's important for children at this age to be able to say their words out loud. We get them to stamp them, we get them to say them on their fingers, to shout them out as well so that they can hear those words really clearly, identifying the sounds, being able to remember those sounds and then write them down. Then we ask them to check it and see if they can read it themselves. So for the children to pass their early learning goal in reading, they need to be able to spell simple words accurately. These are words that they can use their phonic knowledge in order to spell correctly, as the examples you can see there. If they choose to use more complex words in their writing, we always encourage it, but these do not have to be spelled correctly. They can be phonetically plausible, as you can see there. In order to be able to successfully write, they need to have lots of access to reading, to hear how books are read, to look at books themselves. They need to understand what a sound is, what a letter is, what a word is, what a sentence is. So again, we build them up to that. At the moment, we are very much at the sound and letter stage before we start thinking about words and sentences. When they've mastered being able to write single words, we then introduce them to writing short phrases and sentences. With this, it's a little bit more remembering for them because they've got to remember all the words that they wanted to write. Again, we use our fingers, we stamp it out, we say the sentence out loud so that they can recall the words that they wanted to use. Then we start to introduce things like full stops and capital letters, and we try really hard to ensure they can read that sentence back to an adult. So this is just going to show you a few examples of the work completed by children in foundation stage. This is towards the very beginning of the year when they're just starting to learn those sounds and they're looking at pictures and seeing if they can write the words that match those pictures. So you can see that some of the children in this example knew what the sounds were needed to write fish and was able to write that successfully, and for shark they've had a good attempt at doing that. So a little bit later in the year, when they're starting to have a little bit more confidence, they begin to write sentences. So you can see the sentence there that says Mercury is grey. The child has attempted a plausible attempt at writing Mercury. They know how to write is using their sounds, and they've had another plausible attempt at writing grey. So this is what we build them up towards. So the first term is all about those words, and then as we head towards the second term, starting to write those sentences. And this would be a little bit later in the term again, when the children are really getting confident with writing sentences, really keen to have a go, and you can see that they've used the words he, to and the in that sentence because we teach them those irregular words, we teach them how to recognise them, read them, and to be able to write them as well so that they can successfully include those in their sentences that they're writing. As we head towards the summer term and towards the end of the year, the children are given lots of opportunities to be able to write at length. So we provide them with stories, we provide them with fact books, just so they can start to build up that knowledge of sounds in order to start writing sentences. So this is an example of a child who's written a story for Jack and the Beanstalk. As you can see there, they've had a very plausible attempt at once there lived, and some of these words are spelled accurately using their sounds. This is the continuation of the story. As you can see, an adult has scribed over the top of some of those words. That's once the children have told us what they say. So we always ask the children to read back their work to us, and then we write down exactly what they tell us it's supposed to say. you can also see that the children are using the cursive script, which is what we teach them from the very beginning. So they start every letter on the line, and they go up we go, and then continue the rhyme to help them to remember how to write the sounds. And this would be the ending of the story that that child has written, and you can see some really good plausible attempts at some of those words. We don't expect the children to be able to write because accurately. It's a plausible attempt they're achieving. So finally, just picking apart that writing expected level. So it's about using their phonic knowledge, writing the words, including some irregular words which we teach them, being able to write those sentences, read them by themselves, and for the spelling, for it to be correct when it's a simple word that they can use their phonics for, and for others to be phonetically plausible. Thank you for listening. If you have any further questions about this, please don't hesitate to come and talk to us about it. And if you have any concerns, again, you can talk to us about those. Thank you.